My name is Elena, and this is my story. I live in a small coastal town called Seaview Point, not far from New York City. The streets are quiet, cafes smell of warm bread, and the waves are always close enough to hear. I'm 29 years old and work as a receptionist in a small hotel by the beach. Life was simple. Some would call it boring, but I liked its calm rhythm. I had a few close friends, a modest apartment, and a routine that felt safe. Love was not on my list, not after a few painful relationships. I told myself it was better to stay alone. But life has a strange way of sending someone into your path when you least expect it. That someone was Adrian. He came to the hotel on a business trip, different from the usual guests. Calm, polite, with soft eyes and a tired smile. When I checked him in, he thanked me in a way that felt personal, almost warm. I caught myself smiling back. The next morning, he came to the lobby for directions. I told him where to find the best coffee, the quietest stretch of beach, and the seafood place only locals loved. He listened, not distractedly, but with genuine attention. Few people do that. Over the next 2 weeks, we spoke often. In the evenings, after his work, he'd linger in the lobby. Sometimes we walked by the water, other times we sat on a bench near the lighthouse, talking about books, music, life. I felt seen. One night, under a sky scattered with stars, he said softly, "Being with you feels like peace." That night, something in me began to change. When his trip ended, he left, but not from my life. We messaged every day, spoke on the phone every night. A month later, he returned, renting a small harbor house instead of staying at the hotel. We cooked together, danced in the kitchen, laughed like we'd known each other for years. Until one evening, when he grew quiet. "I need to tell you something," he said, eyes lowered. "I'm married. I have 2 children." The words froze me. My hands went cold. "I didn't expect to meet you," he continued. "My marriage isn't real anymore. We live in the same house, but it's for the kids. That's all." I stepped outside into the cold air, the sound of waves crashing against the shore. He followed. "I understand if you don't want to see me again," he said. I nodded and walked home. That night, I didn't sleep. My mind was a storm, questions, anger, longing. The next day, he messaged, "I'm sorry. I miss you." I didn't reply. But days passed, and I couldn't stop thinking of him. A week later, I met him on the beach. I told him I was hurt. He didn't defend himself. He only said, "I care about you." And I stayed. We became a secret. He visited once or twice a month. I'd go to the little house, and we'd cook, talk, watch old films. No dates. No photos. No future. But in those moments, I felt special. He remembered small details, brought books I'd once mentioned. I convinced myself this was enough. But slowly, I began to change. I stopped going out. I waited for his messages. My world shrank until it was just him, and silence. Sometimes, standing by the sea, I'd ask myself, is this love, or am I just lost? Weeks turned into months. When he left after weekends together, the house looked untouched, as if he'd never been there. No clothes, no photos, no trace of him in my world. I told myself to wait. But the truth was clear, he went home to a life where I didn't exist. One rainy night, I asked myself, what am I doing? I wanted more, a home, a man who chose me every day. I was tired of being second. My friend Clara was the only one who knew. You deserve to be first, she said. Someone who walks with you in daylight, not hides with you in the dark. Her words stayed with me. When Adrian came again, I was quiet. What's wrong? He asked. I can't keep living in your shadow, I said. I want more. I love you, he said. Then choose me. His eyes dropped. It's not that simple. I have children. And I finally understood, he would never leave. I didn't call him again. I walked by the beach each morning, feeling the wind, listening to the waves, slowly remembering the woman I used to be, the one who loved books, long walks, and coffee with friends. Adrian still messaged, I miss you. Can I see you? But I stayed silent. A week later, he came to my door. We talked for hours. I told him I needed a full heart, not a fragment. He said he couldn't leave. I nodded. Then this is goodbye. He hugged me. I'm sorry. After he left, I cried, but the tears felt like release. Months passed. I missed him sometimes, but I started to live again. I met friends for coffee. I returned to reading. I joined a small writing class, pouring my thoughts into pages that helped me heal. One evening, after class, I stopped at a bookstore. A man browsing travel books smiled at me. You're in the writing class, right? Yes, I said. I'm Ethan. We talked about books, the weather. The next week, he sat beside me in class. We shared coffee after. He was patient, kind, never prying. One evening on a bench by the sea, I told him the truth about my past. He listened, then said, You're brave. You deserve better. Over time, his presence felt like sunrise after a long night. He didn't try to fix me, just stood beside me. One day, watching children play in the park, I asked, Do you want a family? Yes. One day. With the right person. I smiled. Me too. Now I know, love shouldn't hurt. It shouldn't hide. It should be safe, open, and steady. I don't regret my past. It taught me that love without respect will never be enough. That waiting for someone who won't choose you will only break you. That peace begins within. And now, I have peace. I have hope. I have love, not in the shadows, but in the daylight. If someone asked, was it worth it? I'd say yes.